Hello my friends and welcome back. It's Friday, the end of the week. You know what that means. Time to open a cold brewski with the friends or perhaps a nice little classy art wine from Bakhmut. We'll get to it. But before you go on to your weekend, I need you to know what exploded in Russia and rear areas. We have factories, two of them actually, which went up in flames in a beautiful manner. First of them happened 2 days ago. 25th of February, it was an ammonium nitrate factory or production facility, that's a better way to say that, and it was responsible for making about 10% of the entire Russian production of ammonium nitrate. So that's a big loss. And we have a before and after photo right here. The before photo is taken in the summer by satellites. Don't mind the green grass, that was the only one we got. But the after photo, that's taken right now after the strike. There's snow everywhere and this massive black hole. Now that's what I like to see in the Russian factories. This massive black burnt spot. That's beautiful. That's what I need in my Friday. Look at that. Look at the difference. Usually when Ukrainian drones hit, you see one small building burning or entry pointing to the roof, for example, a hole. But this whole area burned to the crisp. I don't know why, I don't know how this fire spread like that, but it must have been connected to horrible fire safety measures in the Russian factories. I mean, the workers are smoking so carelessly. Ukrainian drones completely destroyed ammonium nitrate production facilities at a fertilizer plant in Dorogobush, I don't know. February 25th. 2026, triggering a chain of explosions across storage and transport areas. The site accounted for about 10% of Russia's ammonium nitrate output in 2024. Here is even a better before photo from the summer what the facility used to look like. So clean and crisp. It would be such a shame if it burned to a crisp. Oh, that actually rhymed nice. We also have a photo of these two production towers right here. Smoking, reminding me of something. I don't want to say what. It's not my place, but if you recognize this, you recognize it. That's all I'm going to say about this. Alright, enough about that facility. Let's move on to the Iskander production plant. Iskander, the Russian ballistic missiles that they produced in this specific facility. Well, Ukrainians sent flamingos there, and it happened almost a week ago, but only now we got an actual CCTV footage of these beautiful pink birds flying into this facility. Look at that. Wait for it. Wait for it. Bada boom! The whole camera is shaking. You know, this CCTV with the shaky cam and massive explosion honestly reminds me of the explosion on the Kerch Bridge when the CCTV was filming and there was this massive fireball, everything was shaking. Looks kind of similar, you know? And like the attack on the Kerch Bridge was a massive success, these flamingos are massive success for the Ukrainian military-industrial complex because they are developed and produced in Ukraine fully by the Ukrainians themselves, and they're controlled by nobody else. Nobody has handles on them except for the Ukrainians. This is why we see them flying into the Iskander factory in Russia. Just like that. This is beautiful. Nobody would have anticipated a few years ago that Ukrainian-made missiles strike targets deep inside Russia. I wouldn't have definitely foreseen that. Look at that. Look at that beautiful bird. It should be pink, by the way. Note to the producers, make it pink. It can hit targets 3,000 kilometers away. Payload, the explosive capacity 1,500 kilograms. That's 2,500 pounds. Wow. Speed 900 kilometers per hour. Accuracy at 1,900 miles is at an error of 14 meters or 46 feet, which makes it an incredibly accurate weapon for such a distance. Mission endurance 4 hours, and this is how big it is compared to a soldier. So it is a massive missile. And this is the hole that it left. We saw on the CCTV footage. This is a satellite image of the very hole. It penetrated through the roof and it exploded inside the building where these Iskanders are produced. Now we see in this satellite imagery that Russians have brought in equipment to clean up this mess. So they're cleaning it up. I don't know if this is a opportunity for the Ukrainians to do something. I'm not saying anything. But yeah, we see a cleanup operation by the Russians already because they want to restart the Iskander production as fast as possible. And to end this topic, I need to show you these beautiful birds out in the wild in their natural habitat being made. Soon they will be released to the wilderness and they will find targets, each and every one of them, and they will mate with them. They will meet their targets. That's nice. If you want to celebrate with me and with the Ukrainians every time a Flamingo missile flies out, then you, my friend, need a bottle of art wine from Bakhmut. Yes, you heard correctly. Physically, these bottles are from Bakhmut cellars. Right before Prigozhin arrived, these bottles were smuggled out. There's a very finite number of these in existence and they're not being produced anymore. So go and get yourself some art wine Flamingo edition only for you, my friends. Links in the description below. It has been a long time ever since we saw a dam being blown up. Everybody remembers the Novakhovka dam being blown up by the Russians and the flooding was really bad. Now the reservoir has, spilled empty. It's just a marsh, wetlands. But here's another dam that they blew up yesterday. That is of course a war crime. I don't even need to mention that. It is a horrible thing to do for the civilians. Russian forces blew up a dam near Kyiv to complicate logistics towards Kostiantynivka, which is a village in eastern Ukraine near the front lines. After destroying a bridge on the northwestern outskirts of the city, the occupiers dropped a 3-ton aerial bomb demolishing the dam. Flood waters spread across the area and reached Trushkivka, Kostiantynivka highway. The section has effectively turned into a swamp, making passage impossible for now. The goal for the Russians is to make logistics impossible, and it is true. When the area is covered with water, making it wetlands, you cannot cross it with any vehicles, even on foot. You can only use drones for logistics. So unfortunately it works, but it's just such a horrible thing to do. Logistics have not been completely halted, but they have been significantly disrupted. The enemy's increased activity may indicate preparations for large-scale operations in the Kostiantynivka direction. Let's look at the moment when the dam was destroyed by a Russian 3,000-pound bomb. That's an aerial bomb hitting right smack on the dam and water gushing out of it. You can see, here you can see the waves. I mean, there's ice. But underneath there's liquid water, right? It's gushing through, and we have an aftermath video also. So it's not the biggest of dams, but here we can see what this kind of a damage does to a valley where there are highways and roads. In such a time, when the temperatures vary between plus and minus, this kind of water release makes it a swamp, full swamp. You can see it right here. Water is gushing down, going wider and wider into the spillage. And there's a road right here. Boom, under the water. These small little trees, forest strips, under the water. It's getting wider and wider. This is a highway right here, under the water. You cannot pass this. This road right here that goes parallel to the flooding area will be under the water right here when it connects to the flooded area. All these trees, everything, this entire valley, this highway here, it's impassable. So yeah, I hate to say this, but this flooding does make the logistics pretty much impossible. And it's just another instance of what the Russians are capable of. Look, this road right here, very important for the logistics, drives straight through this flooded area, and there are civilian housings. This is an urbanized area. In America, you would call this area a suburb. It's a village, actually. But some houses are flooded. This is just such a shitty thing to do. Yeah. See, this is a big urbanized area right next to it that is in threat of flooding now. Let's stay in the Donetsk Oblast, because in another area, Russian soldiers dug dugout, a foxhole. This is the foxhole. We can see it from a Ukrainian drone. But look at that. What's that over here? That's an unexploded 1,000-pound Russian aerial bomb. These two soldiers who were in this foxhole, they saw this bomb and were like, Ivan, look at this place. Very beautiful. Let's dug our foxhole right here, right next to the bomb. But let's make it 10 meters away so it's safe, you know. Maybe it explodes. I don't know what was going through their heads, but they dug their dugout right next to the Russian bomb. And all the Ukrainian drone had to do is nudge it a little bit. It doesn't have to go into the foxhole. No, it goes straight to the bomb. I mean, it's a 1,000-pound bomb. I don't know how much that is in kilograms, but it's a lot. So the drone decides to explode the bomb, which in turn explodes the entire area. So it's Russian aviation through the Ukrainian drone bombing their own foxhole. That's beautiful. That's the circle of life, for the Russian soldiers at least. Another video from another Ukrainian drone, but this time not from up above, but this is a UGV, unmanned ground vehicle. More and more of these are being produced and used by almost each unit. Other units have them. And these two shadowy figures right here, they are Russian soldiers on a patrol. 2 Russian soldiers. And this red dot right here, it is actually a crosshair of this drone. It has a machine gun on top of it. Boom! First one down. Gliding over to the second one. Boom! -2. I do hope, and this is what it looks like. Usually they're mounted with Brownings, 50 cals, and they're controlled. There's no soldiers nearby, only this drone. And they do take... eliminate occupiers. They even take prisoners now. We have seen videos of these drones taking prisoners because they have speakers on top and the operator can speak through the speakers to the Russians and show the huge Browning to their faces, and they do give up sometimes. It's insane. And this drone looks awesome as hell. About 2 videos ago, my friends, I showed you how a Ukrainian FPV found a frontline Russian warehouse which was filled with Bukhanka vehicles, a lot of drones, a lot of ammunition. It was filled with everything Russians need on the front lines, and it connected to one of the vehicles. That's it. The video ended. We don't know what happened. Now we have the aftermath, or like the 4th or 5th drone that flew to the same area because there were so many things to strike inside. See, the door is of course locked, but the Russian soldiers forgot a tiny opening at the top. And of course, the very skilled Ukrainian operators can fly right in. Immediately, we see the first 2 Bukhanka vehicles already burning. There's a little bit of smoke here, you can see. 3rd Bukhanka burnt to the crisp. There's another vehicle burning. These are Desert Cross Chinese golf cars, I think. They're burning already. No need to strike them. Point is, many drones have been here and made this devastation. Now, this specific drone is looking for a target that is not yet burning. Will it find one? Not this. Not this. Ah, this looks fresh. Looks nice and crispy. Not damaged or nothing. Gotta go into it. Look at that. Boom. Taken out. Now another drone enters this same facility, finds yet another target, or tries to find. I mean, a lot of it is burning already. Let's see if it finds another target. Oh, okay. Chooses this jeep right here, right below it. Flies into it. Yeah, if Ukrainian drones discover a warehouse like this, it's not one drone that connects into. Of course, this drone operator saves the location, gives it up to the command. They share it down to different squads and units and drone operators, which all send their drones out. Many operators send many drones. So I'm guessing about 15, 20 drones were sent there. And by the way, these were Ukrainian fiber optic cable drones. And we know now that the strike was carried out using a FPV model produced by Ptashka drones, equipped with a 50-kilometer fiber optic control cable, enabling deep range penetrations, precision targeting, and catching Russian forces off guard exactly what happened in this warehouse. Now, my friends, I have chosen two clips for you. Both are relatively new, of Ukrainians shooting down Shahed drones. Yeah, very old topic, right? But they do it in such a cool manner, I cannot not share it. They use a M134 minigun on it, and this is how it looks like. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, we all love an A10 Warthog. We all love the sound of it, the pure idea of it. Well, here is a Ukrainian Warthog against Shaheds. There's the Shahed, they fly close to it, above it, full release, and boom, a fireball. That's awesome. And here is another video, not so awesome with the but this guy shoots down a Shahed in a way I've never seen it happen before. There's only a small clearance between the woods, the trees right here. He only hears the drone, he doesn't see it yet. But check it out how it operates. Only hears it. And he shot before he saw the drone, shot into the opening where he presumed the drone will be, because usually they fly on a certain trajectory that they don't change so fast, so you can predict where they are. Took only like 10 shots auto fire, and boom, exploded like that. And this casual walk right here, this is insane. This is god level accuracy. Either this was a very happy accident, or this guy shoots like a god. It's true John Wick level shooting. Look at this drone, look at it. You only see it for one and a half seconds. Taken out like that. This is amazing. Now I have a little reminder for you. That in Kupyansk, yes, that Kupyansk that Ukraine has actually liberated over 3 months ago, there is still a Russian contingent in it. Surrounded. Look at that, that's about 2 months ago. That's about 1 month ago. And that's quite recently. The area gets smaller and smaller that they control. Ukrainians don't directly assault them. They starve them out and they use drones, of course, because why waste your infantry when the Russians here cannot do anything in any way? They're short on bullets, they're short on food, they don't have nothing. They're just hiding out here in the basements. So no point in sending in your infantry. So Ukrainians, if they see anything, they send in drones. Otherwise, they just guard this area with a few squads, and that's it. This Russian-controlled area gets smaller and smaller until it's no more. But right now, this block right here, still controlled by, 50, 60, 70 Russian soldiers. I remember 3 months ago, it was about 200 of them. Yeah, no way. 3 months later, there's still 200 of them. No way. That's just a reminder that this encirclement still exists. Now, my friends, 2022 throwback versions. I have many videos that you have all seen. I have all seen them, but they're so damn good. We need to watch them again since 24th of February. It just happened. 4 years of war. We have watched everything. We have watched the Russian terror and horror. Let's remind how it all began. And that even from the first hours and days when the Russian army still had the myth of being the second army in the world, they already were the second army in Ukraine. Check it out. This is the first day of the invasion. Russians are driving in a highway. I'm guessing this is a highway to Kyiv. And Ukrainian car stops right next to them. They have a friendly conversation. Are you guys broken down? Broken down? Out of fuel. And the Ukrainian says, can I tow you back to Russia? And the Russians laugh. Do you know where you are going? No. To Kyiv, damn it. F off. What do they say on the news? And the Russian asked what they say on the news. And the Ukrainian says, well, while everything is on our side, yours and prisoners surrender well. Because the boys also do not know where they are going. And I asked the whole column, people like you, no one knows where they are and where they are going. So I remind you, this is the Russian army that invaded. This is the Russian army not yet destroyed by Ukrainians. This is the fully intact Russian army. First days of war, they are lost in Ukraine without fuel. Just to remind that from the get-go, they were failing. Now another instance to show their intentions, like Russian prisoners of war always say that we didn't know that we were going to invade. We thought this is gonna be an exercise. And then the order came, we were over the border. What happened? We don't know. Here's a video of a Russian soldier calling. It's February 21st, 3 days before the invasion. And this is a Russian soldier calling a restaurant or a cafe in Ukraine to book a table for 24th of February. They know what's going on. Check it out. Good afternoon. Russian soldier. Hello, we'd like to reserve a table for February 23rd. One moment, I'll note your reservation. Not sure we'll make it on the 23rd. Might be on the 24th instead. Though he even knows that maybe not 23rd, but 24th for sure. He knows everything. What time? Around 4 a.m. And it did start about 3 a.m. The first column started moving. The 4 a.m. the whole Russian army was moving. He knows down to an hour in 3 days that they are moving. So there's no excuse that any of these Russian POWs say that we didn't know. They knew. And he's laughing. Look, he's having fun. Yeah, we're gonna be in Kyiv in 3 days. In whose name? For the entire 106th Division. Seriously, how many are you? I'm serious, about 1,500 of us. And you know what? They're dead. They're minced up. They're not even manure anymore because they're skeletons. They're even decayed. The bodies are not even left anymore. So yeah, just a gentle reminder of how the reality really was. And here is a final video of the very first recon groups in Kyiv, early morning of 24th of February, 3 a.m. everybody started moving. 3 a.m. recon groups started moving, 4 a.m. the entire army started moving. This is early morning, like 9, 10 a.m. Kyiv. 25th of February, 1 day later, the first units actually reached the urbanized area of Kyiv, the capital. And only 1 day later, Ukrainians have already scrambled. Let's see how it goes to the Russian recon units. You can see them in a few moments here. This is the recon unit, first vehicle. It's I'm guessing it's an Ural truck. And Ukrainians are shooting at it from all sides, just shooting. This truck is fully penetrated from all sides. It's full of holes. Nobody survives in it. It's gone. Totally gone. Everybody inside, gone. Now, the second contingent, the second two vehicles are following up on this. And they are armored. I'm guessing these are BMPs or BTRs. I cannot see from so far, but they are armored. Two of them, they drive full throttle. But we saw the aftermath of what happened to them. And look at that. One moment. Boom. A Ukrainian soldier was actually so close that he hit the moving vehicle with an anti-tank missile. This one is fully gone. Hits the lamppost. See, the lamppost is shaking. Other one, we saw the aftermath a little bit later. A whole squad on both of these vehicles inside also. Minced meat. Gone. These were the very first contingents to arrive in Kyiv. And that's it. No reservations in restaurants. Meeting with the devil, perhaps, is a better way to say it. So this was a good videos to watch, good way to remind to ourselves that it wasn't the Ukrainians only that destroyed the Russian army. They never were a proper army. They always exported that myth of invincibility. This was the undestroyed, untouched Russian army, and they already failed so bad. So covering this war for 4 years and fighting their disinformation campaigns and narratives, pushing them over, I'm so glad you have been with me all this time, my friends. And this is why we have one new Buy Me a Coffee monthly member, and I want to honor the guy or girl with butchering the name. But they didn't give me the name. They only wrote Someona. It's someone. It's Someona. I don't know who it is, but thank you for signing up as anonymous. And if you like my channel and want to support until victory, then buy me a coffee, link is in the description below. Until my next video, my friends, which will be every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Slava Ukraini, and bye bye.